A reading from Scripture, Psalm chapter 46, verses 1 through 9. God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear that the earth give way and the mountain fall into the heart of the sea. Though its waters roar and foam and the mountains quake with their surging, there is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy place where the Most High dwells. God is within her. She will not fail. God will help her at break of day. Nations are in uproar, kingdoms fall. He lifts his voice, the earth melts. The Lord Almighty is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. When we first started buying children's furniture, it was in the Wild West days where children's furniture had started being made out of really light, cheap wood or wood equivalents. But before they started coming up with attachment anchors, we supposedly secured them to the wall. I say supposedly because one time we did actually secure them to the wall, and it just ripped out when my son climbed on it. Studs are not always aligned with where you want to put your furniture. In those bad old days, it was not totally unusual to see videos of children climbing on top of all manner of furnitures, dressers, changing tables, nightstands, and bookcases, only to be followed by the whole kit and caboodle tipping over, often leading to tragic results. Way before then, in the really bad old days, I broke my toe trying to turn on my mother's pull knob TV set, which had been placed on a changing table. Anchors are important, if only because they root us into the ground. This psalm was written during a tumultuous time in the life of Israel, where wars of conquest were being attempted around Israel's borders, often requiring the king and all his horses to venture out into the front line of battle. When the troops are deployed, the towns from which they came would feel emptier, more desolate, and were likely without their strongest and most capable citizens. You can almost hear the crying out, "Where is my hope? Who can I hold on to? Where can I find rest?" The Christian discipline of hope is so important, not because it's a pie-in-the-sky wish or dream, but because it anchors us into the ground which does not move. When the earth trembles and the sky falls, anchor keeps us upright in the midst of the gale. But, and here's the tricky part, the anchor has to be screwed into the furniture before the kids decide to climb on it. Hope is not something we can pull up on a chain and then let splash into the ocean. We must develop it and build it, remembering and retelling our experiences with God before the storm comes, in order for the anchor of hope to hold when the great weight of trial and tribulation comes. Christian hope is built on the repeated telling of stories where God has shown up in the darkest hours throughout history. The stories we read from the Old and New Testament are meant to help us find and shore up our anchor in the midst of storms. What stories do you have to tell? Look back on times in your life where you had an obstacle to overcome. What did you learn from those experiences, which you could bring forward into the future? Start a collection of stories and times where God showed up, which you can refer to in the moments where you feel unable to look towards the future with hope. These podcasts were written and recorded by Reverend Elizabeth Troyer, with audio engineering and editing assistance from Jermaine Taylor. These devotions will always be free, but if you would like to help support our online ministry, you can donate using the link in the description or at wakeforestpress.org.